What's going on, lunch crew? It's Shoulder Tap. I am Jack, joined by risk manager Ben. Big day. I'm looking at the NQ right now and thinking about what could have been if we waited a little longer to get into that long, but good call out by Nick for a tick. What have some of our traders been catching today, Ben?
Yeah, hi Jack. It's good to be on with you today, and lots of activity, internal movements, traders, things flying around all over the place. So yeah, lots of trading activity from our live traders. We've got I know the house account just took a small loser, but given the trade that took place end of day yesterday, really killer trade into Power Hour. That was awesome to see. So small losers and big winners. That's the recipe, right? So small winner, the live house account. I'd love to see us protect that, big gain from yesterday and not give it back today. But yeah, some small losses across the board. Dakota was up a little bit, down at the moment. Haven't checked to see if he has a current position on. He's been doing fantastically. Just to give him a quick shout out. It seems like every time the risk team starts talking about adjusting his risk parameters, talking to him about that, he gets right out of that drawdown and takes a U-turn towards new equity highs. So not quite there yet, but thanks Dakota for doing what you do, trading responsibly and getting back on the right track. We love seeing it. Tanya
Just
trades up,
like,
also a solid U-turn. She was down earlier today, up a cool $700 in the live account. So love that. Nick for a tick, big $5,500 day. Also impressive. Raphael S, 55 grand as well. His account balance is finally got all of those funds from the XFAs over. He's got about $140,000 account balance at the moment.
woo.
So definitely want to see him continue to score some winning days and then take another big payout from that value. Pin Sin another 2 grand day, and Felipe B up 4 grand. So lots of winning trades on the boards for live traders. Of course, there's always, as always, a good amount of red too. But yeah, cool, exciting stuff, and lots of volatility. It looks like for day trading today.
Dakota definitely has that Jordan style dog in him.
No
Did
doubt.
you watch the Last Dance?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The
It's great.
Netflix? Yeah, it's I don't think Dakota drinks, but it's like you can just imagine him with that cup of tequila or whatever Jordan has, just waiting for the haters to come in, the risk managers, and be like, well, I told you,
Yeah. Oh
love that
yeah.
trait. That's the right sort of revenge.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny how resilient he is to all the chatter. I mean, he does a trading live accounts is hard enough. He does it live on online with all these people watching. That's a incredible that he does as well as he does while live trading, and he gets all kinds of armchair quarterbacks and hate messages and all these things, and it never seems to phase him. But as soon as the risk team calls him to talk about risk parameters, he goes into kill mode and just
I was,
puts up 15
I,
grand like that the next day.
I remember it. It's like he just, and then Ben called me, and I took that personally, and then
Yeah,
just
that's
shows
right.
us what he can do.
Yeah, he's got the
All
cigar in
right.
hand, and I took that personally. That's a good call.
Jordan is a maniac. Anyway, we got a couple cards today, and if there's time left over, we can take a few questions or talk about some topic in risk. But what are we showing today, Ben?
Yeah, we've got two really interesting trading cards I want to go over. They're similar in some ways, but very different in others. So we can start with Joy Yun. Joy Yun L is trading with us from Taiwan. We've got a lot of Taiwanese traders. Love our traders from Taiwan. He's been trading at a 50K XFA. It was just called up to live yesterday. Trading the Nasdaq. We know the Nasdaq is the most popular product for our traders that we offer, and average daily P&L almost $1,600 and an 83% average winning day. Now, Jack, if you've moved down low enough already to see the trading days, I know what you'll have to say about that. Especially when it comes to the reward to risk ratio, that 7-to-1 ratio. I hesitated to even put that on this card because that's not realistic to expect that over a significant volume of trades and period of time. But you got to call a spade a spade. He's been crushing it, really managing the downside. That $1,000 per trade average winner is great, but only $139 per average loser is really something to be celebrated, especially when you're trading a product like the NQ, the actual E Mini, not just the micros. Having a 3 minute hold time on your losing trades and only taking an average of $139 loss, that's amazing. That tells me that Joy Yoon's got very excellent trade location, because to only take that small of a loss and have it work out, or not work out in your favor after 3 minutes, and holding on to those winners for 14 minutes, significantly longer than the losers, is fantastic. So there's a lot of, despite the um, small amount of time they've been trading this live account, really been able to crush it. There's some other, the devil's in the details, I think is the saying. There's some other details around how Joy Yoon has been managing their time in Topstep, the accounts that they have, and so on. Hasn't had a tremendous amount of accounts with us since 2022, and a good portion of that volume is actually practice accounts. Joy Yoon's
Mhm.
using practice accounts for 2 to 3 weeks at a time before either passing that practice account or losing it. So actively involved in practice accounts, and then profitable trading in the XFA. I think that shows a lot of maturity. It shows you're willing to try out new things, but also do so in a risk responsible manner by using those practice accounts. So lots of subtleties to this trading and this trader that we really liked. Really consistent trading volumes as well. You look up and down that trade report, Jack, and you're going to see very consistent numbers in the total contracts traded. So lots of really positive things to say about this. And love that he's cutting the losing trades quickly and for small amounts. The only thing I really want to drive home going forward into this live account is, it says it right there at the bottom of the card: dance with the one who brought you. Far too often we see traders, XFA traders, who are called up to live, and then for whatever reason, I don't know if there's internal pressure they apply to themselves, or just the small subtleties and differences in those live markets. They start doing different things, start taking different strategies, different trades, and it's written all over the trade reports when we see that. So we'll monitor that closely. But yeah, don't change anything. This is really excellent trading. Market conditions may change. You may see some losses, but just be diligent about managing that downside. And Joy Yoon will have, I would say, a long and prosperous trading journey in this live account. So outside of the lack of trading days that we can look at, Jack, what thoughts do you have when you look at these trade reports?
There's a lot of cool things on this card. Um, First and foremost, you were talking about the transition from XFA to live. This to me looks like a card that, if they keep doing the same thing, should do well. Where I get worried sometimes is when we see an XFA account be brought up to live that has an absurd amount of trades, right? Um, on all of these days, all right, we're looking at, so 12 days in the XFA. Um, Never more than 8 trades. It's like 2, 4, 6, 8. It's when I start seeing people that have 70 trades or something like that, that I'm thinking, okay, this might be something that will get you chewed up a little bit when you're facing the live markets. Like, I don't know how durable a strategy like that is, but this looks very good. I'm now obsessed with the column that shows the P&L high and P&L low. Well, first, it's great to see a 50K account. And in this 50K account with a $1,000 loss limit, they made $5,000 in one of these days, and consistently putting up days that are more than $1,000 than the loss limit. Hit the DLL once, cut the other losing day at 821. But getting back to that P&L high and low, um, I don't see any day that has a huge swing. I don't see the day that I see on some cards where it's like, okay, they were flat at some point, up a bunch of money, and then cannonball to the other side. Um, I can also see from this that they're being good about cutting losers, because I see a lot of P&L lows for the day that are like negative $5.60, negative $31. That tells me that they are not lennying their losers, right? It's not working, they're getting out.
Yeah.
This is really one of the more impressive cards I've seen as far as the risk reward. Um, you're right in saying that you can't go on forever probably with a 50% winning trade average at 7 to 1. They probably caught some big pieces of it at some point. I think this is also maybe one that I've said before how the winning trade thing can get slightly skewed by some people bring their stops to break even slightly positive, some slightly negative. If I had to guess, it looks like this person is taking a small loss, maybe if they bring it to it, which decreases the value of their losers. But really fantastic card here.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'll give you kudos as well, Jack. I know you've looked at enough of these trade reports. You're someone, because you often host this segment, you're in there dissecting the data on those trade reports. And there's so much to be gathered around, what your winning days and your losing days look like, hold times. We try to pack those trade reports with a lot of information. I know we have plans to build that out even further and give our traders even more insights, which is really exciting. Um, but if you aren't doing the bare minimums of going in and looking at your own trade reports, looking at your trading history through your TopStep dashboard and seeing, what do my winning days look like? What do my losing days look like? If you're someone who puts on one or two winning trades and that's a winning day for you and you walk away happy, I made my $600. And then on the losing days, you've got 15 trades, you traded 50 contracts and you hit your DLL. That tells you a lot, and you have to be open to, and humble enough to take something away from that and figure out what you're going to do, implement some rules or a plan to change that behavior, because so much of this is behavioral based. So definitely go through and look at your own trade reports at a minimum. You could post those in Discord, ask for experienced traders. Hey, could you take a look at my, trade report data? Tell me what you see. Tell me what you think I'm, doing wrong, doing right, just based on this information. You have to pursue self improvement relentlessly in this game in order to stay on top of and stay profitable over time. So, yeah, you're a good example of that, Jack, of what looking at these cards over and over again can really do for you and be able to dissect what someone may be doing, or a trend, positive or negative, that you're seeing over a series of a couple of days or weeks. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we love seeing this card, and lots of positive stuff here.
Before we go to the next card, glad they took a payout as well. I'll just say this. Um, and I might, if I thought about this more, I might come up with others, but it doesn't display any of what I would call the three warning signs I see on the cards, even if there's good performance. And those three warnings to me are lots of trades, um, either lots of trades, trading huge size and banging into the loss limit until you get a big winner would be the other. And then the third would be having an extraordinarily high winning trade percentage with a whack ratio, because I worry about those in a live market. But great stuff. We'll have to follow up on this card because I love it.
Most definitely. Yeah, let's keep it moving. Rodolfo A is our next trading card to feature. Trading with us from Corona, California. Man, that looks like a lovely place to live. I
Very
haven't seen
nice.
the thumbnail just yet, but yeah, Corona, California. Also a Nasdaq trader. I mentioned there's some similarities here. Nasdaq trader, 50K XFA that was just called up. They were called up 2 days ago instead of yesterday, but very different path to get to the live account. So average daily P&L 380 bucks, and a winning day percentage lower than that 83% we just saw. 67% winning days and 65% winning trades. But the reward to risk ratio is positive. It's a 1.4 reward for every one risk. So love seeing that, especially paired up with that winning trade percentage, and only averaging 2 trades a day, one contract per trade. Another really, really healthy and even larger data set, 36 trading days completed. I almost missed it, Jack, when I was going through the trade reports. I'm trying to dig up every bit of valuable information out of these reports. And it hit me at the last second. They do not trade every day. They'll actually go several days at a time without taking a trade. So despite
Hmm.
there being 36 trading days, that's actually across a couple of months. Um, Really, really incredible. I can tell you of all of the trade reports that I look at, I mean, dozens, hundreds a day sometimes, there is very, very few traders that we have in our program who skip days, multiple days at a time, and don't show up and just put trades on. I love that. I think it shows a lot of maturity. I think it shows a lot of selectivity and not letting trading necessarily dominate your life, which trading is fun. Trading is exciting. It's an opportunity to make money. But if you're not seeing your setup, or if you are doing something else that your life demands, right? You're at the doctor that day. You've got to do something with the kids, whatever it may be. You're not sitting there trying to put on trades, from your phone without the full setup. Trading setup and the setup in the markets potentially. So I'm not sure exactly what is leading to that. All I know is it's a positive sign on the path to consistent profitability. So can't say enough about that. That was the main point I wanted to talk about today: is be willing to be disciplined enough to sit out when your setup isn't present or the conditions are not optimal for you. Market conditions or personal conditions, based on what's going on in your life. So I suppose that's enough about that component, but really like seeing that, just steady, profitable trading behaviors overall that we're seeing from Rodolfo. And, hold times about a half hour on the winners and slightly less on the losers. All really positive stuff. Rodolfo's also paid himself out aggressively the whole way. So taking a total of 5 payouts, and $10,221 in total on those payouts. So freaking love it.
That's
Love seeing our traders pay
yeah.
themselves aggressively. What else do you have, Jack?
Well, it's great to see another 50K account. Um, Great numbers. By limiting the losses on 2 days, they just barely avoided the club DLL, which is okay. It looks like um, they might be going into trades similar to how MP trades with a sort of like static loss limit, because I see a lot of the same numbers, occur for the losers. They're trading NQ, and I see a lot of the same numbers show up as far as their losses. Like they have some tick limit, which is fine. But I mean, maybe definitely have a personal loss limit or how much you're willing to risk on a trade, but maybe try and find places that invalidate it. Overall, though, this is really great because I'm fine with them. Once again, my rule, what we're working on the house account, is don't lose something until you've proven that you can make more than that. And you can see with the average winning day being over $1,000, that's over the loss limit. So that's pretty good as long as you can keep up, a winning percentage around there. And 65% is doable. It's when it gets above 70% that I start to wait for the inevitable decline. But this is good. A few decently big days of like 2K to 4K. Losses are controlled. It's a solid card. And as you mentioned, not many trades each day. They've been in this account since April 19th, it looks like. And on more than half the days, it's just one trade, maybe two. So I like the selectivity there.
Yeah, that's the common theme between both of the cards we talked about today. That selectivity is awesome. We talk about it so often on this broadcast. Drive that point home over and over again. Create a trading plan and then have the discipline to stick to that plan. Let the chips fall where they will, and if you're trading something that maybe isn't a profitable strategy under certain market conditions, that's something you can study and refine. But exactly as you said earlier, Jack, when you get in and just start blasting out 20, 30, 40 trades in a day, and maybe 10 the following day, maybe 80 the day after that, there's that screams right away, that there's not really a plan, that we're going in and kind of just taking swings, taking stabs at profitability. Maybe it works out that day, maybe it doesn't, but that's not a way to build long-term consistency, which should ultimately be the goal for every trader. It's not to get some big payout once and bleed out over the coming months. It's to create a system where you can build that equity curve over time and continue to pay yourself years down the line, not just weeks down the line. So, um, yeah, love it. Two great traders that are going to be called up to live, and we'll continue to highlight them as we see the good, the bad, and the ugly going forward.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, taking stuff from here and trying to apply it to what we're doing in the house account. I mentioned earlier that one of the warning signs that we see is just banging on that daily loss too much. The daily loss, it's like a sometimes food on your diet, right? It's
Yeah,
should be like the special occasion when you have the reason to do it is when you lose it. It shouldn't be, you know, every time. You can tell I'm hungry
right.
for lunch. It's like ice cream. And I think that we've been doing too much of this. So I'm really focused right now on cutting our losers or finding um, justification in the market, not just to blindly, oh, we have this much, we're in. Let's lose this
Right.
much. So something I've been thinking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I like that idea. And Dakota's a great example of that. He finds a location, a zone, as he talks about, and he'll scale into that. You don't have to take all of your size at once and have a wide stop and just kind of let it play out. You can add to it over time. There's a million different ways to day trade, and I'm glad that we're exploring ways to increase profitability in this house account, because ultimately, the money, the profits that we are able to churn out are going to go to a good cause. So um, we'll continue to monitor the house account and provide any kind of colorful feedback that we can over time. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that. And we'll have to be honest because we got smacked around pretty good at the beginning of this month. And so we've been doing some soul searching. Obviously, the last 2 days have helped us dig out of that hole by and large. But it's always good to reflect on these things. So uh, we would take some questions, but I feel like we don't have too much more time unless I see something in the chat here real quick. Because any questions here we could also throw into. We got group coaching next with JD and Hogue, so there'll be more time for questions then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, is there a max days when in XFA? Is there a max number of days one has to trade the account? No,
Nope. No,
trade
our
as long as you want.
I can speak to that briefly. I know that's a question we get all the time about, the process for calling XFA traders, up into a live account. There's a lot of different factors. Brett, myself, the rest of the risk team, every day we, evaluate a list of XFA accounts that meet certain criteria. We have to filter out some of that. Otherwise we would spend weeks, just to review one set of XFAs for the day. But you have to clear certain criteria, and then you appear on a list, and we go through and look at those trade reports. We see, what your profitability has been over time. We look at number of trading days. A lot of the things that you hear us talk about on these trading cards are exactly the criteria that we want to see from traders. And it's a discretionary proprietary process that the risk team goes through every single day to get you called up. So there's no hard and fast line in the sand. If you hit this number of days, you'll be called up. If you have this winning trade percentage, you'll be called up. Every case is unique. Every trader is unique, and we want to pull the best up into live accounts.
Yeah. I think sometime we'll head out soon, but maybe we'll show some anonymous reports of what we're not looking for, perhaps, because we're true to our word as far as like the rules are like ultimately everyone's a big boy and big girl out there. Within the rules, you can do what you want, but there are definitely cards we see that are like, okay, this is as Dolby's talked about playing the meta game of combines or gambling, things like that. So it's a little bit of everything, but glad we got to see two good traders today. And with that, Ben, thank you. We're going to take a quick break and be back with JD and Hogue to take any question you'd like about life, about romance, about your car, but probably about trading. We'll be back in like a minute with that. So stick around. We got an afternoon of good stuff coming. We'll see you then.